wenye umeiva babe umekosa tu vitungu na ukiweza zigedish itakuwa set na unajua babe venye si udu nika on Toa form nika on True, kama liko juu, fika bei ndugu, kangumu basi ora buy shoe, kazi kwako utadu, you had one job, I never came through, I swear I'm on a mission now, you know Chris Tiger pull the crowd, nikikaa mina die mathao, niko on and you know what I'm about, what's that, niko on, Toa form, niko on, Toa form.
Just as the song suggests, to go on. You're listening to Chris Kaiga starting off the show on The Vault, where we do this each and every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. With your girl, Myra Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen. And...
yes, the beatmaker, not the beat taker. Yes, 10 fingers in the air. And if you don't know, you better ask your mama.
Ask her.
Or you can ask Akinyi with a good hair.
Where is she?
Yeah, if she can't find Akinyi, ask for Apio. Yeah.
Hey, what's about the new swag?
Today is bandana day.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the new swag.
With the small beatmaker.
That's the beat. Oh, yes. But nowadays, look, we let go of the beard.
Yeah, I let go. It's just itchy me too. I don't know how these men who grow beards, how they do it.
Beard getting strong.
Mr. Akizo. But yeah, there's been a lot going on.
Yes.
This week.
Yes.
And in live and in entertainment.
Right.
Yeah, and so like apart from entertainment, I have to mention this. I started watching this series that everyone's talking about.
Right.
On BBC. You know?
The TB Joshua.
Yeah.
I haven't got any strength to watch it yet.
Hey. Like, you know, BBC, when they do a document, those guys don't joke around.
Yeah.
They don't joke around. They take their time. There's filmmakers, you need to learn this.
Yeah.
Even BBC, people forget, BBC have their own movies out also.
Right.
And series. When those guys put together something, they take time and put it out. And when you watch it, you actually, even if it's harsh, you enjoy watching it.
I'm still not ready for TB Joshua's. I've been watching the snippets.
I haven't finished it, but there's some things that are just harsh. Yeah? On one thing, even I think his daughter says that guy rarely used to sleep because he knew what he was doing was wrong and it scared him.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And so this thing, I think this rise of too many fake churches, cults, and what in this day and age, there's just too many that are rising up, and governments are saying. And you know, this guy actually had presidents backing him.
Right.
Yeah.
He did.
He had like that's why he felt that he was untouchable.
The investment into that church was heavy. Remember, they also had their own channel on DSTV. Like these guys, he was turned to for everything.
Was it the Emmanuel Network or something?
The Emmanuel Network.
Yeah.
I think they removed it recently. Until recently, they still had it on. And they're still immortalizing this man who did all these things.
And then his building came crumbling down.
Yeah.
Which is suspicious.
Yeah. I think there are too many secrets. Probably they didn't want to know.
Humans say where there's smoke, there's fire.
100.
You know, but his was just like I was seeing some of the guys, one thing. Okay, one thing I saw on that thing that was strange was he had this place where he lived at the top. He didn't have another house. He had this place where he lived, where the church was, at the top building.
Yeah.
And he had these boys looking after him. You know, so when he wants to go use the toilet, they have to take him to the toilet and sit with him in the toilet.
Right.
And remove his drawers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know? Then they said one found it strange because he only used to wear white drawers. And then he used to put honey, like, inside. So it's just like, I mean, doesn't that sound demonic to you? They started giving graphic details of of this guy, and the thing is, people like they're always looking for healing.
Yeah.
They worship actually these people more than God. They look for that. They look for that thing, eh?
So when he died, like, what did his congregation think? Like, I think they thought this guy was immortal.
That's most of these so-called leaders, eh? That's how it usually is. It's been going on like for years since the 70s. What like they never fully agree
Right.
that he could be in the wrong. That what he was doing was deceiving.
It's just crazy to think about how much Africans worship the person rather than God. You should have seen. I'm not saying this is Pastor Ezekiel case, but you should have seen his crusade in Kitengela. It was like the entire county was enveloped with people watching one man. It was crazy. And I was listening to some of his sermons, and the thing he prays for about people, first and foremost, is wealth, and that they will prosper, and it's very material before it goes into health, before it goes into your relationship with God. So just like probably that's what people go to. They think that they will find a way out of poverty through his sermons because that's what he prays for.
It is, and like I was seeing someone was saying that when he came to Kenya, because he did come to Kenya, and he was charging for healing apparently every person $70.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you ask yourself.
I wonder what I'm doing here. Probably I should be going. You know the word of God nicely.
These guys have become crazy and all over the place. And the honest truth is, like, I'm not saying this is totally different, but it kind of operates the same thing. When Fela Kuti had his shrine, like where he used to go do his shows, and the women he had, I don't know, was it 80 wives or something? You know, like 70 or 80 wives. Like they literally bowed down. One woman said that they looked up to him so much, almost like they worshipped him. That when one woman is in his room, and then she just went to the toilet. Mwingine aliruka to take her space. Like ingia.
But that's different. That's not veiled. It's not veiled worship. They knew exactly who they were worshiping. They were worshiping this man who they thought was irreverent, who they thought was awesome, who they thought was a vision of a man, not being veiled under a church where we're worshiping God but through you.
And then even him, he was aligned to someone who was like a cult leader. You know? And it's like this guy, like even his own family was suspicious of this guy. They're like, this guy he's not a spiritual leader. This guy's a magician.
Right. it's an interesting thing that but it's not an African problem. It's a worldwide problem.
It is, because even that TB Joshua, the people are talking about that are women who came from the UK, and they were actually staying there. Because
he had people from the UK, Asia, South America. Like he had congregations
even
coming
Israel.
from
He had. Yeah.
He really grasped, and using the media to do it was the best way for him.
And he set up a hotel.
Wow.
Where people would come and stay. You should see them. They're all dancing around. It's like they knew he was a savior.
Right.
He was Jesus Christ. He was God.
Right.
That's how they looked at it.
Anyway, so other than that, we do have a Jam Master Jay. He passed away. No, is it Jam Master Jay? Am I getting it wrong? Am I getting the personality wrong? One of the guys from Run DMC.
Didn't J Master Jay pass away some time ago?
Wait, I'm getting the story. I lost my part. Okay, yes. So, one of the members of Run DMC, and I didn't know this until now, that he was murdered. I know one of them passed, but I didn't know it was Jam Master Jay.
Yeah, because there was in the group there was Run, there was DMC, and J Master Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jam Master Jay was murdered. Now all these years later is when they're doing a jury selection since Monday for the trial of the two men who were charged in his murder in 2002. So Jam Master Jay is known by Jason Mizel, and he was part of the group Run DMC. Now Ronald Washington, 59, is charged alongside Carl Jordan, 40, who was 18 when he allegedly gunned down Mizel in a Queens recording studio in October 2002. I didn't even know it was
Why would they even
2002.
go for him?
It's not quite clear as to why. First of all, I didn't know he was murdered. I thought like he was sick or something.
Yeah, I heard about it, but it wasn't clear.
And he was murdered right in a studio. Gun violence has become too much in the States.
Yeah.
It's become too crazy. I saw about 2 weeks ago, Lil Gotti, you know Lil Gotti, the one who did Down in the DM. His big brother was gunned down, shot 20 times at a funeral of another icon who they were going to marry. At a funeral. It's crazy how much violence occurs, especially within the community, the rap community.
There's this lady who's also gunned down. Is it Mongolia? She's one of the founders of all this puppet trap and all that stuff, huh? You know, and she was gunned down by association. There's a guy that was with her,
Right.
and so when they come to kill, they don't care who's around you.
Right.
They shoot you also.
Or you're all
So
collateral
they're
damage.
it was about like 30 or 40 bullets straight.
Wow.
Like it was that crazy.
Right.
You know, and then the other person was like the big story was Nipsey Hussle,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And Nipsey, there's a rumor that this guy, like he refused to take a picture of this guy. So
Like even for extentation, is that the name? The killer was sentenced when was he sentenced? He was sentenced 2 weeks ago. And the way the judge put it was so daunting. He was like, it's unfortunate that you ruined your life, that you're going to spend the rest of your life in a 8x8 cell with a concrete slab for a bed and grilled windows and a steel sink with a steel toilet, and that is all you're going to look at for the rest of your life. You could see on this man's face like it was dawning on him that this is what his life is going to end up in. It being locked up in his cell for the rest of his life.
these guys, you cannot understand why they do what they do. There's a series that Monica, remember Monica the singer?
Yeah.
She has I think it's called Infamy.
Right.
You know? And she talks about the people who are famous, like how she actually says how success can be a terrible thing, and she's experienced it.
Right.
And how they come after people who
Right.
are actually famous. And
Right.
there's a series, there's basketball players who were killed, and some of them were killed by like, who were put a hit by the women. You know,
What?
like yeah, like it's messed up. And these guys had occupied a lot of wealth. You know, some of
Now-
them were DJs.
It's a wealth story, romance. It's ridiculous. Like Serena Williams' dad, the woman he married, apparently a stripper, she's refused to let go of him completely, depleted his assets, but she's still holding on to the marriage and refuses to grant him a divorce. Like, again, money is the root of all evil. But now, back to the story for Master J. On October 30th, 2002, Mizel and several others were present at his recording studio, 24/7 studio, located on Merrick Boulevard in Queens. Now, according to prosecutors, at approximately 7:30 p.m., Washington and Jordan entered the studio, both brandishing firearms. Washington allegedly pointed his firearm at one of the individuals located inside the studio and demanded the person lie on the floor. This is according now to authorities. Now, Jordan approached Mizel, pointed his firearm at him, and fired 2 shots at close range, according to officials. One of the shots struck Mizel in the head, killing him. The second shot struck another individual in the leg. Now, Jordan and Washington were charged with murdering Jam Master J while engaged in cocaine trafficking, according to the indictment from the Eastern District of New York, and also charged the two with drug offenses. Now, Jordan was arrested in 2020 after allegedly attempting to sell drugs to an undercover law enforcement. Washington was in prison on a prior robbery case when he was indicted. Both have pleaded not guilty. So it took how many years later, since 2002 till 2020, for these guys to actually be indicted for that? And now is when they're facing a jury. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It takes these guys forever to bring these cases forward.
Tupac is happening now, as in it's nuts how these guys are not able to find justice at the time they're supposed to find it. Can you imagine what the family has gone through all these
They're going
years?
through hell because I mean, first of all, J Master J was an icon in his community.
Right.
Like everyone looked up to him. No one had anything negative to say about him
Right.
at all. He
Right.
was someone that helped people out. He was just that kind of person. If he's walking down the road, you come and talk to him. He'll walk with you and talk with you.
Yeah.
You know, he had a good spirit.
Right.
You know, and so for that to happen, you know, apart from him, when you look at people like Nipsey, they're actually building their community. They're buying store one in their community to build it to help the youth out.
Yeah.
You know, they were taking those areas, you know, to support them. Yeah, places that used to be known as gang violence areas, that they're making them better. You know, and so you wonder, all these people are positive, who have something positive that they're doing, you know, in their community and for other people. Why would someone come and be like, you gotta go?
Right.
You know, it doesn't make sense. And gun violence is not just a thing of in these America, Europe, and those, like, even in the UK, there's a lot of gun violence, like serious gun violence.
Knife violence.
Yeah.
Idris Elba the other day put out a song talking about it, and I didn't realize how rampant and how bad it is in the UK right now.
It is. Kids go with knives to school, and they're knifing each other.
Oh my word.
Like 13, 14-year-old kids. They're pop. They've knifed you a dagger, you know?
For like literally no reason.
They're taking you out. There's a lot of gangs over there also.
It's
You know?
horrible.
And it's like some of that culture creeps over into Africa.
Yeah.
You know? And the thing of people being shot regularly in Africa is real also.
Yeah.
That's a whole system.
Right.
The people. I was watching this documentary where there's a guy who was actually linked to Tupac. And he said, oh yeah, I gave Tupac his first Rolex and what, you know. There's a series on hip hop. And he was saying that when he was younger, there's this bully. He used to come and beat him up, take his basketball, what, you know, slum on the ground. This used to happen every day, take his lunch money. You know, he was older than him.
Yeah.
So when he went to a friend of his, a family friend, and he knew he had a gun, and said, hey, can you lend me your gun? The guy's like, no, I can't give you, because once I give you this, there's no going back. I can't give you this. But then he saw this bully beat him up the next day. He's like, you know what? Have it. You know? And so this bully comes, and he's coming to beat him up the way he usually does. The guy pulls out the gun. The bully begins to run, and he shoots him. He shoots him, whether he shot him in his leg and in his butt. Eh? And when he says when he shot the bully and he felt the gun, he felt power like he's never felt before. That one thing can make people respect you and turn around. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people feel that they need it, you know, and then what they're doing is doing others, because you hear all these gang violence, people are like, oh yeah, I had an AK-47, I had a Uzi, like I took him out. Like there's a lot of that stuff going on. And some of the people would be great in their generation are dying right now because of stupidity.
Right.
There's nothing positive about killing someone.
Stop the violence. Stop the violence. And also, we here at the show also take a stand against violence against women. It has become an unfortunate trend, a horrifying trend, and it's continuously happening day in, day out. We've talked about safe spaces here, but now it's not even safe for women outside there. And it's time for it to stop. There needs to be bills, there needs to be lawmakers who are taking a strong stand against femicide and creating harsh punishments for perpetrators against that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's a lot of violence against women. You know, I've heard too many stories. Too many people that I know have been in situations where they give you their stories and you wonder like what the heck? Why is this continuing? You know, someone looks at you and feels like they have the power to do what they want to you, and there's nothing you can do to them. Nothing at all. And so for a long time, women have kept silent about it. You know, they've been terrorized and they've kept silent about it. But now the positive side about it is a lot of women are beginning to speak up. The thing that I don't understand is I don't understand how how the sector, especially the police sector, does nothing. They keep silent. You know, they shut their mouths. I know someone who went to a cop one day and said and ran because the husband was beating them up like brutally, and goes to the police, and the police says, "Ada mi na biba na pika bibi yangu." Like, what are you coming to tell me?
Right.
This is normal. I mean, Abu, go away with that rubbish. You know, it doesn't make sense at the end of the day that the law authorities that are supposed to protect their citizens, protect these women, are doing nothing.
Right.
And so when women come together and try to be activists and what, they say, let them talk and let them talk.
They're
get tired.
feminists.
Yeah, that's what they say. Let them give them a moment to just talk, you know. But the thing is, on the other side, there's also women that have been oppressed. They become the oppressor, you know, and they've been brutalized for such a long time.
That's true.
Then now they turn around. They be like, "This is what happened to me. I'm gonna do it to others. No one is gonna escape."
Yeah.
And so
It's a vicious cycle.
we've got to realize that human life is important.
Yeah.
And we've got to treat each other well.
It's a vicious
We've got to
cycle.
give each other that respect.
Yeah. So I need for our women reps to do what they were mandated to do. Speak up and create policies that are in protection of our women and the girl child. I have asked this in the time of COVID, what is the work of our women reps? I've gotten into arguments. I've said abolish the roles until I fully understand why they are there. Yeah. But for now, as they remain silent, I gotta ask them, it's time for them to speak up. I've gone past that thing of abolish, but your role is there and it's there in the Constitution. Speak up. Do something.
Yes, you women rep are putting you out loud on point here on Icon Radio. Like, what are you doing?
Do something.
Yeah. What are you doing? You just want to be voted in, and when you're voted in, you're just like chilling.
Yeah.
You know, then you'll do one thing, you'll talk about one thing maybe in parliament, and then you'll sit back. I've seen it all the time.
Yeah.
That's what they do. You know, so the thing is, the honest truth is, right now, in this day and age, we live in a very selfish society. And the selfish society is that I'm looking out for myself. I don't care about you.
Yeah.
I'm looking out for me and my kids. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, so why are you there? Why are you campaigning? What is it that you really want? If you hear women like a few years ago, we met up. We had a project. We met up with these various women, you know, who have been abused, have been done wrong things to. Some of them could hardly even talk, and when they talked, they were just in tears.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't even repeat some of the stories right now, but it's like it was brutal. And then I asked them, what is in that area, that particular area I went to, I said, what is the politicians doing for you? And they said, oh, these guys, when they come, they just give us some small money, and the same politicians want to sleep with us.
Wow.
You know.
Now, this is where we who have these platforms need to also utilize it to speak up. People like you, like me, artists, it's time you are the greatest tool to speak out about the ills that are going on in society. It's time to also go back to that era where they use their platform to speak out. And I would encourage you, if you do have that song, no matter how it sounds like, but you're spreading the message to end femicide, send it to us at info.iconradio.co.ke, and we'll be sure to put it on rotation. Because we need your voice.
We do.
To stand up and stand out and speak against femicide. So again, if you have that platform and you've used it to speak against femicide, send your music to us, your poetry, your written works, whatever it may be, you as a creative. Send it to us at info@iconradio.co.ke, and in whatever way it comes out, we will put it out there because we need your voice.
You know, interesting enough, the other day, just want to say this quickly. I was watching this movie that everyone's been talking about, The Color Purple. Not the one for Prince.
Yeah.
The other one, the new one.
Yeah.
And in this movie, Fantasia's there. And she's being beaten up by the man who married her every day.
Yeah.
Till she took it no more. She was told by And the other person who was in the movie was Taraj is like, no, this shouldn't be happening. You need to stand up. So we reached a place where she stood up. And the guy was shocked.
Yeah.
Because she stood up. He's like, I'm not taking it anymore.
Yeah.
And she said, you have to make things, in fact, she said, I'm leaving you. And he says, you have to make things right. And he's like, until you do that, things are not going to go right in your life. Every business he had crumbled. Everything went wrong. And it comes back, and I want to speak to the men out there who are doing wrong. You may think that you're powerful, but you're really not.
You're cowards.
In the Bible it says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, he shall reap. Let me tell you, if you're doing this wrong, you may think that you're powerful, but something is coming for you, and you'll not be able to escape it. And the thing is, you have no right to raise your hands. People will be like, oh, you know what? Why am I like this? I'm like this because when I was a kid, this was done to me. So now they feel they've got to do it to someone else.
Right.
And that should not be an excuse. Treat people with dignity. Because everyone on this earth deserves dignity.
Right. On that note, guys, you can chime in to the conversation on +254 788 380030. Again, this is a call to action. If you do have that song that speaks out, if you have that song, you have that artwork, you have that written work, you have that poem that speaks out against femicide, please send it to us on info@iconradio.co.ke. Put in the title as End Femicide, #The Vault, and we will get that. Thank you so much. See you in a bit. We'll be getting into what Africa is standing for on the world stage. Are we being taken seriously enough? Let us know your thoughts on everything we discuss on +254 788 380030. We are also live on YouTube. Send in your thoughts. We are going back into the music. We come back after this with more discussions around the world of hip hop exclusively on The Vault.
Nah. Shit. Mandugu digital ndani ya Pinnacle. Yeah. Go flani. Mau. Yeah. Ziki mshiki hino mnatafuta ndoto za kijasa kushika kisigino tiko si trade kusaka tisho lo gomba ile bamba na madema kadlo dosa utapuzo omba jicho gomba ile patie samni atrova vunja rules. Angalia vile na kama toka Dandora mpaka Dar es Salaam kuna wachumba kwa nyumba rumba ni chupa ya kichwa shtuka umekutwa pinduka umerushwa UK double O say tumelala broti rushe kwenye uwanja jo hata chanjo sweet siko macho na kicks the snares kicks the snares kicks the snares everyone now kicks the snares kicks the snares easy hustle is a ghetto this time tuna save crime salam ni za wale wana serve time to miss you na tumetuliza kwenye kona na mavisu visi yako yetu na psycho flow yondo unakaa nyumba kao pondo nothing is impossible kama geishaka amenyoba twegi hit track naingia vikarafu nachengua mafala tu nifanye biashara kama warabu wa Zanzibar na makarafu yani wacha tu macho juu haijalishi kwa Rolex watches silver masista wanajipa juu ya insha mamista wanasifa juu ya vita malizo aibishwa kicks the snares kicks the snares kicks the snares everyone now kicks the snares kicks the snares kicks the snares everyone now kicks the snares kicks the snares kicks the snares everyone now kicks the snares kicks the snares kicks the snares everyone now once again mfalme wa bounce tunajua tena mandugu digital ndani ya Pinnacle uko flani mau yeah tuna bounce tunajua tena ndani ya kick na snare MC potea yeah bounce msee yani tunajua tena yeah ndani ya kick na snare yeah ini ya mabega wanatingisha mabega mzee Yeah, 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 yeah. Ze Mora, ze. Acha true.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Kumanga madregi dhare imefanya aftermath kwa shady. Kulangeni vibari ndio mseme kama wamego crazy. Amkangeni ngwari kulala ni kazi ya kudedi. Funga break kwanza shika kili keti kabla nikupe kipaza seti keti. On your mark, super ready, cop when the thing cop when the shady fish, I'm a jetty reggae dog. Wanna be them, begin the Bentley, cause I see them, trying to be me on TV. I see him see a kijaribu kusidi na trust he. The KTN na crime news na carefully watch me. Itabidi my MC kuhama cause no one can touch this. Can't see, cop the mic na pen, unlock my ATM, say amen, amen. Atulikuanga wapi? Constantly kwenye kona. Atulikuanga wapi? Constantly kwenye kona. Na kina nani? Na squad ya watu 12. Na kina nani? Na squad ya watu 12.
Kondole macho weni beach kama Condoleezza Rice. Takuaje ngumu kulipwa after madeni nkilipa ikijipa through. Sometimes sativa message ili deliver through. I think kwa bibi yako ukiapia kwa Ice Cube. Last Friday na rap people through single. Hii ni Kenyan men ka people. So keep the distance ka Mr. Ohingo. Juu kwa hii marathon mini Kipchoge na weni Kino Kipchoge. Day in day out na hang out na wase wamepass out without any kwa head. Yes. Nilipigwa bed, nilichimba kisima uliza Ted Ted yuko dead, come ni kushow grave.
Kwenye kona, atulipanga wapi? Constantly kwenye kona. Uko flani constantly kwenye
brave
kona.
Enough to snatch bling off the neck ya president. The spare bamboo though, jwali get saved. Nilikuwa na thoughts jingi za kukall Mr. Jiggy tufanye song inaitwa Hallelujah lyrical Biblia. Messiah for hire, spit out fire. Drink Medusa, nusa unga. Niliacha maji kigokota, by the time nirudi nitakuwa nimeosa. Oboho kwa kila music festival. Na hii ni war, shinda panya ko. But hamkunisikiza though, ni ngumu kupenya bila kusikiza. Skiza jo ya otero iki open. Hamna mtu righteous ama vipi bro. Nishaona rasta anakula nyama kama ni kushow. Ni show, slits kwa skata zikulizangi ndani ya church. Niambie vizuri juu ni payback. Koke zita grow fat. Hoko
Kwenye kona, constantly kwenye kona. Na squad ya watu 12. Na squad ya watu 12. Constantly kwenye kona. Constantly kwenye kona. Na squad ya watu 12. Na squad ya watu 12.
Hoko
Mbona nyinyi na wawasha nkikula nyama choma tu firifiri na taska. Bro amejituma ako kazini anaisaka, but anajua bibi yake anafanya nini Naivasha. Boy akisi Kenya kuna content, nashindwa dunge chengani so nazidunga zote. Anataka nwage ndani mimi na mwaga kwa matope. Si ubonga kilami tukitaka ganji itoke. Normally shembeteng mamoli kwa Henneken. When I'm me you're my friend, we got rich in the end. Tulimtupa kwa boot, si tulimtrace na magan. Kawamini tuko luzu liza that's falling Sini mabagla for sure na hisi siri. Bala klapo wezinjwa kwa CCTV. Bro nikimwambia haski na yesi kiziwi. Kasi bizu tanipata nimesare sikimbizi.
Nafaa kuenda nani zai Speed vlani shwako ksa Kawasaki. Jege masanse hawatutaki. Kaunitambui sikutambui.
Kauna ngam na mawaps, kauna ngam na mawaps, kauna ngam na una. Wazi wakona waps, kauna ngam na mawaps, kauna ngam na mawaps, kauna ngam na una.
Ukikwara na waps wadhara, ukikwara askari wa msitu giz ni kukimbiza maswara. After masjid masti ikilost isit wasin tunapiga baroda na kikwara. Tombo yoyoto mboya zilombo tosizo mangoto 6 feet with deep ni vilali maro. Homeboys hapa nataka mchezo atina hama tomboys bombo clap bato. Izazi baroda sarek ndipi tukishukizo masaa. Minus warazi tunaadingi maombe. Taki news show mheshimiwa kulendaje tena jama. Divide makazi zita msingi to the jobless. What about PCCBs? How about Gen Z? How about that? What about PCCBs? How about Gen Z? How about that? Kuna bahali nafaa kwenda nani zai. Speed flani shwapo kusaka wazaki. Jeke masanse hawatutaki. Unitambui sikutambui.
Skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama. Wazinga kona wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama.
Yo, tuna drip design tumekuwa maplamba. Tuna beef josta nikamtezana. Labda peace talk ama kofi kaya nana. Pigia skilo tuchukue maskanka za das. Mini pro kwa shit si ati na jigas. Kuna bro amejipindia AP na ngiwapa. Mili yangu ya kwanza nilishikanga nikirap. Tuko wax chinda bees wera imetugeuza wasp. Moshi moja ya pili ya utat na una kuf kuf. Tuko holy masoja matrup na makruk kruk. Unangam ulidaya tuna kitu na una makali na graph yetu ina improve. Speed flani Kawasaki nikikam through kama lightning. Tukijam niku strike tu kudigida warazi ndo kitu si udu.
Kuna bahali nafaa kwenda nani zai. Speed flani shwapo kusaka wazaki. Jeke masanse hawatutaki. Unitambui sikutambui.
Skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama. Wazinga kona wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama. Wazinga kona wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama. Wazinga kona wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama wap, skauna ngam nama.
You got the keys to my Jeep. Usisituke sana mrembo hii ni stick shift. Ignition baby full speed. Skid accelerator speedometer kuserereka speedometer accelerator speedometer kuserereka speedometer.
Busy blaze unajiduna uko hungry. Chali mdogo na uko thirsty. Ukisleki ndakuroga you be my honey. You say you want me, oh you're so funny. Cause I've heard it all before. Baby this, baby that.
Beep, you got the keys to my Jeep. Usisituke sana mrembo hii ni stick shift. Ignition baby full speed. Skid accelerator speedometer kuserereka speedometer accelerator speedometer kuserereka speedometer.
Kakuku ni ndege, basi samaki ni meli, kangoma ni genge, kwa mikrofoni mimi mkali. Utanipata na maboys nikikata maji. Kwa dunda sipendi vita tona watiaji. Nikiserereka napenda ndogo hiyo na ndimu na jagi ya maji moto.
You got the keys to my Jeep. Usisituke sana mrembo hii ni stick shift. Ignition baby full speed. Skid accelerator speedometer kuserereka speedometer accelerator speedometer kuserereka speedometer.
Kawewe ni gari basi mimi ni driver. Kawewe ni nduthi basi mimi ni rider. Kawe ni bunduki basi mimi ni sniper. Kama wewe kitanda basi mimi pajama. Sexy body kind like a beamer. Let me put it in reverse, I want it bumper to bumper. Umebeba utadhani ni trailer. Kama wewe ni kecha basi mimi ni neighbor.
Beep, you got the key keys to my jeep. Usistuke sana mrembo, hii ni stick shift. Ignition baby, full speed. Skid, accelerator, speedometer, kuserereka, speedometer, accelerator, speedometer, kuserereka, speedometer. Lete shangwe wenye wana stamina kahiwa chache. Kama imeni nice irabwe, ana waste time aparare kama mawe. A trailer loader, girls in the house. We rombosa, we dondosa, thaizi ki bouncer. Easy trousers in a shuka style ya madansa. Mina wa angusha to design ya mambanga. Accelerator, speedometer, kuserereka, speedometer, accelerator, speedometer, kuserereka, speedometer. Beep, you got the keys to my jeep. Usistuke sana mrembo, hii ni stick shift. Ignition baby, full speed. Skid.
Anywhere you want me, oh, you can have me. Vivian and Cancer, oh, di-la-di-da. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Vivian and Cancer, la-di-da-di-da.
Girl, a new position every time me a dig it. Like see Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari. Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari. Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari. Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari.
Shika jaba, shika mtoto dili bablas. Pige munju kwani nini hola gala dance. Shike meza, shike onanga yani double dance. Mami ndo fisika unarada kuna kutupon. Geuka nikubenga, geuka nikubeng. Geuka nikubenga, geuka nikubeng.
New position. Girl, a new position. Girl, a new position. Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari. Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari.
Rada nigane, tuingie ndani. Juu misibane mina jua uko honi. Janta juu dundo inamata. Ganja famanya wale wajanja. Kushoto kulia wanachora namba 7. Wanachora namba 7.
Sugri wagri, ten. Nasema sugri wagri, ten. Yo, katika, dondosa, natigal, rombosa, kila mtu, rombosa. Hey! Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari. Nike zima Marsha, Buddha cheza na nari ati. Buddha cheza na nari. Girl, a new position. Girl, a new position. Girl, a new position.
Yo kifuniko toshe chupa katika kalia ina mfupa paka rangi toa kutu hii chuma nezi waikus nimejipinchuma nika spendisi teke karuma nezi waikus nimejipinchuma
Mlango inabishiwa na watchman. Ju 1 hour unawika tu. Ushaiguswa usikie tu kunyora. Ushaiguswa usikie tu kuoga. Bahati mbaya ukinipata juu ya handas. Kwanza nikichanganisha shada. Nipe
New position. Girl, a 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 new position.
Digital. mash the soda up. Mash the soda up. Mash the soda up.
Yeah.
Mash the soda up. Mash the soda up.
Mandugu Digital.
Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah.
Asiyefutwa na mama yatafutwa na mimi, kuvunjwa na kuundwa na nini, kuchungwa kama umefungwa, lakini raundi hii MCs wanafukuzwa na DJ. Kama umeroga na raia wajafurahia, siweni gasia na unajipandisia. Sasa basi nipe nafasi kiasi tu, sivangi rasmi lakini kazi ni kazi tu. Ngoma nazi tu safi juu watu wanaulafi, na nisipofanya kazi si basi nitakula mavi. Ngaro squeeze wanga ni fundi na echo bana, na simu nichangie mapesa nisaidie eko bana. Kama mrembo wiko basi matembo ziko, kwanza ni mchanganyiko, hakuna mabadiliko. Simu inalia kani bibi sema siko, kama ni yule mwingine basi nitasema niko, na ile hali niko ni akuliza watu nani mnoma kuniliko. Kule ni hiyo jo
bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah.
Mala nasema mkate tumeshiba, njaa tumeshinda, madinga tumekinda, wakuringa tumechinja na tukawawinda. Shamba tujalima tumechimba na kupanda jina tukiimba. Naitwa Jerry tu nifanye nini kama rhymes na flows ni heri ni hare tu. Na mara ya kwanza kunywa Malibu siniliharibu kilabu na matapiko kwa ukuta za corridor. Enda deep kama katikati ya Rift Valley mpaka na vunja matofari. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila matri pesha za boxi nishike taxi na raundi inda boti moti city lobby na maranubi bori kama wochi wana maspoti mfuko ya koti
Maji soda up, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah.
Akufukuzaye akwambi toka, chomoka mwenyewe. Lyrics zinapoporomoka, sumia nyoka inavyofanya ngozi kutoboka. Ndivyo rhymes zetu fanya morali kukutoka. Msemo ni fuata nyuki urambe asali, na ukimfuata kadhi sutapata kuswali, na ukiswali sutapata mali ama morali. Wafuate fundi Frank na K-South Fine Ram Kalikali. Hiyo za sakafuni wishia ukingoni, za MC suisha tushikapo mikrofoni kama stoni. Twatangatanga kimwizi maarufu tukipoteza malirical kiu marudufu, na tutakapo windai why lie? Muna deny lakini mnasikia kudai. Ati kivipi wabibi la suti na tai wanaweza kuduma demwenyu kuaga bye.
Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah. Bado sijapata ndai, lakini nitawai walhamdulillah.
Bye.
K-South, Fundi Frank. K-South, Fundi Frank.
Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali. Bila gidi naleta maji Kalahari mpaka mchanga ni matope kila mahali.
Fundi Frank, Mandugu Digi, Fundi Frank, K-Shaka. No, you're the K-Shaka, it's K-South. Hey! Let me tell you, now is when I get to realize how people usually rap. Like for Fundi Frank was, ha 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 ha.
Fundi Ufuni was a dope rapper.
I love it.
It's just that people don't when you mention his name, they don't realize that he actually was.
Yes, they thought about him for clothes.
Yeah.
But then he actually did a couple of songs, a number of songs.
He had a shop in South Sea where he did some tracksuits even for me and a few other people.
I remember them.
Yeah.
One day we will look for those pictures and put them on icons and we'll see how far back this hip hop game has come from.
I'm too old for this. I'm too old. When people ask me stories about the past, I say if I start to tell you the stories right now, like I'll bring too many graves out.
Oh gosh.
Of people that I knew.
Yeah.
It's like their stories when they come out, you'll be like, nah, that didn't happen. I remember there was this situation with Pete Odera. You know, nowadays he likes to be called Rev or Doctor.
Okay.
Dr. Pete Odera.
Okay.
And I remember someone was like, hey man, like I'm trying to organize this. We're at his event, a concert that he did at our Baptist church a few years ago. And then they were like, what about this? What happened this? They're like, how can we do it? He's like, Jimmy's over there. Go and talk to him.
Wait.
Because people say, like, I remember a lot of stuff. Even some guys of rap community say that I remember a lot of old stuff.
You do.
And so, but it's good for me. It's good for me because I was actually there. It's not a hearsay thing.
It's time for us to do that podcast. I think we're getting to that season. It's time. You're an archivist. Like your head is like the National Archives of music.
I mean, that time Kenya was coming up. The music scene was coming up. It was transitioning a lot of from like it was hip hop from the West Coast stuff into our Kenyan sound.
Right.
And so it was an exciting time.
Right.
You know.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And a lot of guys from back then have gone on to do a lot of amazing things. And speaking of amazing things, Africa has really come to the forefront when it comes to music.
It has.
Heavily.
It has.
Heavily. And there's a big spotlight on especially Afrobeats and what's it called? Amapiano. Huge focus. But it also has brought out music from Senegal, from Cote d'Ivoire, from Angola. Like people are listening now to more music coming out of Africa. And it's coming out in all its forms, in drill, in those Afrobeats, and
there's a whole new sound.
It's a whole new sound. And now everybody, like there's this new scramble for Africa, but not for its land, but for its artists and for it to work with its producers as well. But then we never truly get the accolades we deserve.
We don't at all. And even Kenya, like if we talk inside Africa, there's a time I was talking to Macadam, and he was telling me how the Congolese took that Benga sound.
Right, they did.
They took it, and then they transitioned with other sounds, and they called the Loketo.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, there's a lot of creativity that came from Kenya that we're never given the praise we need for that. Even in Kenya, we hear all the time people saying Kenyans are great in IT, but we still never get, that appreciation. So and every country has this thing going on in Africa. Like if you talk about Amapiano, I watched the documentary of how it began. And for you guys who don't know where it began, that ding, 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 it was in the church. That was a church piano. They used to like ding, ding in the church. So those are the guys who actually created that sound of Amapiano, you know? And then they took the 808 basses, they took it from other genres like drum and bass, and they mix it to what they have right now.
Because like South Africa is also a big dance country. They love dance.
It's humongous. And then like I was going on YouTube, and there's guys who are learning how to dance Amapiano around the world. Kids like from 10 years old, 11, they're doing all these crazy leg movements. What you do in Amapiano, and it was a huge. But I always say Africa, if there's a place in the world that has a natural dance culture, it's Africa.
100%. And now, let's not leave out Kenya also, because we have Sophia Nzau, who has become now our biggest export with Mwaki, the song she did with Zerb. And she has been trending on #1 for the longest time. Everybody from CNN, BBC are all trying to capture her right now. And of course, it's because of that authentic Kikuyu sound that she gave, and people want that authenticity now more than ever. Yeah,
culturally, that's what they want.
100%. And now you've seen more Kenyans now embracing their cultural side, and now you're seeing a lot more people doing stuff in their language.
I
And it's
think-
about time.
I think that's with urban artists now. That's what, because in Kenya, like, remember there's a time we used to have all these culture weeks even in high school.
Yeah.
That music has always been there, but it was always taken like you go and see them like he knew Shamba.
Yeah.
That's how it was taken.
Yeah.
But now it's become a thing like where you're like, I want this.
Right.
I want this. If Mugidi has always been there,
Mm.
but the last couple of years it's really risen.
Mm.
You know, so it's always been there. But now for the urban artists, they're really transitioning to something that the world needs to hear.
Exactly. Now the question remains: Why are we still fighting to be seen? Why are we still fighting to be heard? Meek Mill the other day was a butt of everyone's joke in Africa. I mean, everyone's joke.
Oh man, that guy
Okay.
like. Not just it was not one area of Africa, but it's like all the guys in Africa were this.
We united, KOT, SOT, NOT. All of us came together to go after one person. Finally, Gaddafi's dream was realized. Bob Marley's dream was realized. Africa unite, and we did.
Africa united, but they united to this.
After one man. And I mean, probably shouldn't have been that harsh. Probably they should have tried to understand where he was coming from. But I'm just like, before you put something out, just realize we're a whole continent with internet, and we're very intellectual, and we know how to speak, and we will not back down out of stupid things that are being said. Now for Meek Mill, and I call it stupid intentionally, he asked, do a lot of people play my music in South Africa? I remember having one big show there a few years back. How do you all listen to our music in Africa? On what platform or in Nigeria? Now, this is a guy who says, I had a big show in South Africa. How does he think they listen to his music? How do they think that they got to introduce him into South Africa or invite him there? Like, he didn't when he landed, didn't he land from a plane? Didn't he get into a taxi? Didn't he go into a hotel which had intercom? Didn't he have a satellite TV? Didn't he have bundles or Wi-Fi on his phone? How does he think we connect?
I think what he meant to say was, what are the platforms in Africa that they're playing his music? Like, instead of saying that, he came from the language that he put was all wrong.
All he had to do was Siri, Spotify Africa. That's it.
But there's this one.
Siri, Apple Africa. That was it.
But there's this one.
If he's using Apple, if he's using Android, Alexa, Spotify Africa. That's it.
Yeah, but that's ignorance. That's ignorance. It's very high ignorance. But the answers that came from Africa are the ones that kill me. Let me read one of them from Nigeria. But in Nigeria, we actually go down to a town hall and line up to listen to a man called Bulaba sing your mid songs to us over to South Africans. How do y'all go about it? And then there's another one said, we don't have any music streaming services in Nigeria. We have this guy. He's the only one that has access to Spotify. He's a town crier. He comes every Friday to perform your songs for us. This is how we listen to your music.
Not the town crier. Not the town crier.
Like, what do they think Africa is? Like, what do they really think it is?
Oh my God, Afro Rave said, when we want to listen to your music, we gathered around in circles while beating the drums and shakers. Then the monkey would hum to the tune of your music and we danced. Oh my word!
You know what America?
Those are deserved answers.
You know when Americans talk about the mama joke, or they call it the dozens. It was called the dozens.
Mm-hmm.
They acclaim that whole thing started in Africa.
Right.
How people used to sit around the fire and diss each other.
Mm.
So now he's getting a taste of it.
Right.
He's getting a taste of it now.
Your mama jokes, but now but no, for real. This is the ignorance that has existed in the rest of the world for the longest time.
I mean, remember what happened with Fabulous?
Fabulous.
He was no longer Fab.
Fabulous puts a 2-megapixel picture on his Instagram. And guys are like, Isa, why are you putting various pictures that are low quality? And he dare blames Kenyan internet. The fastest in the continent, might I add.
They don't know.
Uh-huh.
Say it again. Say it again.
The fastest internet in the continent. Do you hear me? Fabulous. Fabulous.
My brother.
Fabulous. How many times have I called you? Fastest internet in the continent. And you're here saying that the internet is not causing you to put 2 megapixel pictures. First of all, again, internet does not affect the quality of your pictures. It is your camera. You and your crappy camera and your 2 megapixels.
You forgot. How many times did I say your name? How many times?
How many times? How many times? Okay, let me talk about our internet.
Man,
yeah.
That guy was just off. He was off in another zone.
I think he had to even zima his comments at that point because it was ridiculous. And you're in the motherland. You're in Kenya, talking about the birth of mankind, talking about the internet here. Yeah. You're mad.
People forget that some of these guys' records, why they're so big, is because of Africa.
Of course.
Yeah.
We are the king makers.
Yeah.
If you do not tag Kenya on TikTok, your video is going nowhere.
That's how it goes down.
It's going nowhere. So please understand, because even I saw a comedian who was trying to be funny from Nigeria. He was over there showcasing music from different parts, from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Congo. Then he came to Kenya. He was like, music? What music? Do you know even one song from Kenya? Your people come here to this our Kenya, yeah, because they know this is the hub for music. And if it doesn't kick here, it will kick nowhere else in the world. Tanzanians know that as well. So please come correct.
You know the thing.
Very
you
correct.
know the thing is, if we come even down to Kenya, Kenyans are very passionate about what they believe in and how they go about. There's this Tanzanian once who was on the bus and coming to Kenya, and he said, "Naenda Kenya, nchi ya watu wadogo." Let me tell you, Kenyans said, "Don't even step here. Don't try. Don't try to step. Go back. Go back to where they take that stuff." Personally, in Africa as a whole, they take this stuff, like, the thing is like they've risen. That's the reason why you want to come to Africa.
Yeah.
Because Africa is a place that you need to be. You need to know people in Africa.
How many songs has Chris Brown done with Africans? Oh. He understands. Yeah. He is smart. You smart. You loyal. He understands.
Yeah, even Drake.
Yeah. And yeah. These are people who understand. Don't you dare. When you try to come for Africans, think twice. Fabulous. Think twice.
Look how much Fali is in demand.
Yeah. High demand. Now, it doesn't even end there. Okay.
Yeah.
It gets worse. Now the Grammys, yeah, because this is the first time an African is going to perform on the Grammy stage, choose Burna Boy. And they want to do a promo. You know, they always do these promos before.
Yeah.
Man, they go and pick some guy, Olululale is due from where, to put him as a symbol of Burna Boy.
No.
For the Grammys.
I saw that guy. How does he even look like Burna Boy?
This guy will put the picture. I should have given it to my producers. We put that picture.
There's no way that guy looks like Burna Boy, man.
Yeah,
even on a rainy day, he doesn't look like Burna Boy.
Some guy who's an extra on a video Suji, maybe who was on Burna Boy's song, and they put him as Burna Boy. My God, they did not even take the time to do their homework. One of the biggest selling, not African, but artists of all time. One of the biggest sampled music on movies and series of all time. And you cannot even get his face right. They pick some skinny guy out of the deepest parts of Abidjan to go and put him. Hey.
These guys need to come correct. They need to come correct.
Why is it that we are not being taken seriously?
I think it's a historical thing that we've always been taken like that we're lessers.
I'm becoming emotional like Jirongi. I feel like
Jirongi, baby, where are you? So it's like we've always been taken like we're irrelevant. That we're good for the tea plantations and other things. Yeah. That's how we've been taken. But when it comes to the arts, when it comes to creativity, they still take it like they need to tell us. And if you think it's a lie, let me give you an example. When they do movies based on Africa, like when they did Mandela.
Yeah.
What did they do? They brought in Terrence to act as Mandela.
They brought in Terrence, they brought in Idris Elba. Idris Elba, at least he's from Africa.
Yeah.
Like they brought in other people apart from just getting a South African to play.
When they even brought that movie about Rwanda, still they brought an American actor.
They brought in Don Chido.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
like even in America, any movie that comes out,
yeah,
the top spots, they still want to give it to like they don't want to give them exactly to black actors or whatever. In Africa, they're telling you a story about Africa, about where Africa's from, and they're why they do that. They say for them to get the ratings they need to take a known actor from over there. Why would you take a known actor over there to put us in an African movie?
But how did Lupita get known? She was an unknown actor, and all she did is she did her job, and she did it well, to the point that she got, within her first year of acting in a Hollywood movie, she got an Oscar. You just have to take a chance.
Now, but the thing is, a lot of these directors, they don't want to take, like, they believe that they know better. They believe they know, and to be honest, someone was giving this argument, and there's a point of us in Africa we need to look at today. There's times that people like Showmax and other companies want to get invested in Kenyan productions and things like that, and in Africa.
Yeah.
And the first thing they say is, okay, us are willing to invest, but how much investment do you have from your own country? We also need to look at what we have, and empower each other.
That's charity starts at, we've said it before, charity starts at home. Yeah. It starts at home.
And I think that's not the reason why they diss us, because they feel like people are not even investing where you are.
Yeah.
Like,
why should
let's
we?
Bring our own people to do it.
Right.
They bring the whole camera crew, they bring their own people, and they're like, we're the only ones who can do it. Yeah, that's not true.
I think also there's just a lot of deprogramming that we need as a continent. We were put down for so long. It became so ingrained. Like we're saying, we didn't even appreciate our own language. We appreciated American language, British language. The trademark for you to have a successful song was when you sang it in English. Now is when we're embracing our culture. That's what I'm saying. We need a lot of deprogramming of ourselves and get back to that place of pride. And we are.
We are. We definitely are.
We
definitely are.
But now we need to make noise enough to say, you guys are not welcome here if you're not going to give us the accolades that we deserve. We will start our own Oscars, we'll start our own Grammys and leave you guys out and then see how this works out.
Funny enough, like, I don't like talking about America a lot because we're in Africa, and we Icon Radio is in Africa.
Yeah.
But I'll give an example of there was this well-known rapper, Detroit, where Eminem is also from.
Yeah.
And he basically, he was saying that when other guys come, like Rick Ross, all these guys come to their city, they show these guys shade.
Yeah.
They show the rappers, artists from their shade, like, you're nothing, you need us.
Right.
Like, and if we give you a spot, like, we're giving you out, like, they're helping you out,
Right.
So this guy, he's called Trick. I remember, it's called Trick, yeah?
Okay.
He's an old rapper from back in the day. He was well known.
Yeah.
And he basically said, if you come to my city, you have to come through me.
Yeah.
And ask for permission.
That's how it's supposed to be.
You have to ask for permission to perform in my city, and you have to lay down some paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Rick Ross thought it was a joke. They were locked out of a gate. They couldn't get into that venue to perform. Snoop even
there
agrees.
Was a gate.
Huh?
There was a gate.
You know that gate, like the entrance?
Oh,
like,
okay. There was a gate to the city. I was like, what?
They're like, you can't enter here. Two people started taking it seriously. They were like, and Trick, he had his crew.
Yeah.
And his crew were artists, white guys from around this. They are united. And this is what we need to understand, even in Kenya. We need to unite as artists,
Yeah.
and lay down how things are supposed to be done. Because people come to Kenya all the time and they treat us like rubbish.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is that even our own people will be like, we'd rather give praise to other people.
Right.
Than to our own. And that's
true.
why our industry hasn't moved as far as it needs. I always get asked that question. And like, why hasn't Kenya moved? Like, Kenyans are smart people.
Yeah.
They're great at why hasn't it moved?
Mm.
And the reason is there's no society in the world that can survive if you're not united.
Do you know what you're saying is very true, because we do have people who come here, especially West Africans. So they're sitting in our clubs and all they hear the entire time is their music. So when that guy was dissing us, it's probably true, because we don't play our own music, we play for everybody else, and charity does begin at home. But again, for me, it pains me that, the likes of Hollywood would still treat us this way. They would still feel it right to lock us out of a lot of the forums that we've helped build. That, let's be very honest, if it wasn't for us viewing, if it wasn't for us making them trend on TikTok, if it wasn't for us playing their music or playing or watching their movies, they probably would have been lost in the bowels of their libraries wherever. Yeah. And then it's time they realize what we possess, the power we possess.
It is true.
And what we have to contribute towards any scene.
I think people always mention Nigeria, and why Nigeria is a strong point of discussion, you know, wherever you go right now, even around the world, is because they literally said, this is a screw you. You either jump on board or you don't.
Or you don't.
But
Period.
this is us. And that's a lesson that the rest of Africa needs to learn.
Yeah.
Ghana actually said that they were in the music before Nigeria. They had the hip hop movement before with hip life.
Yeah.
You know, and what they did was when they went to America and they were told they were doing their rap in Ghana, and what they're told this is not cool. And so what did they do? They conformed.
Yeah.
And decided to do it in English. And they said they regretted it and said, the producer said, we wish we would have behaved like how Nigeria is right now and said, listen, you meet us on our playing ground or don't meet us at all.
Right here. Right, cross this line. So guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Please let us know on +254 788 380030, because the anarchy against Africa does not end. We have still more to tell you as to why we need to be taken more seriously. So stand by for that. Again, our WhatsApp number is +254 788 380030. Head on over also to our YouTube channel and get to give your comments there as well. We'll read them out. Ukona salams, ukona requests, shout outs. Again, let us know on those platforms and we'll be sure to get you sorted. Let's get back into the music. This is The Vault.
Imeanza basi sari tosha urahu. Huyu Awero usimdarao, alizaliwa 1975, birthday tarehe 25, madhe ole miaka 15, ndani chali nje ni adult. He's a grown man na roho ni afro. Kama utaki kusikia kaa kando, comprende skiza muchacho. Mi ni nani? Ni nani? Skiza. Skiza. I speak to my forefathers. Ngoma ni kali, mnapigwa ngoto. From Gatondo, any modo. I dedicate this one to my show. You disobeyed, eat the top toto. I'm from the east, get love from the west coast. Africa, ala kusidarao. Ngoma ni ya kutoka kwetu, no doubt. Bado B, bado L, bado L. You listening to the future sound. You wanna go ahead, hate me now. Me, ni nani? Me, ni nani? Me, ni nani? Me, ni nani? Skiza. Skiza. the dark continent, and I'm confident we shall overcome one day. This one's for you, not only me, Bwana, inshallah.
Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, ukituona ndani ya club samahani. Hawa magrupi ndani ya fane namna gani? Tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya sampro ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje. Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, wakituona ndani ya sam.
2006 nashika nazika naandika mistari mizani methali mezani. Ulidhani ni nani amekuja kubadili famili zote za ghetto na mento vitendo minendo? Hebu punguza mapupa za media, kipindi ni ya MAU double penye si struggle kupita through milango za dancehall ni jasho za dando. Iwe hardcore makomasho tuko macho anko nipe heshima lazima hasla tashiba kabla lipekeja teja fadhali we kilema hema kabla ulalejela mzela tigika na mabega kubali we ni memba wahenga walisema gema kisifiwa lazima utazidiwa.
Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, ukituona ndani ya club samahani. Hawa magrupi ndani ya fane namna gani? Tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya sampro ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje. Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, wakituona ndani ya sam.
Soma dibaji ya wenyeji nasemaje, soma gazeti za Dandora zinasemaje. Uko kwa mikono za polisi utahepaje, umekutana na jambazi si ujikate. Uko flani wa kibandani usijishashe, kama una gode na kilaita si ukibashe. Zikusanye usijibanze, heri ujikaze wasikufate. Ni mapema itabidi ujipange, hawa mafala hawataki situmange. Ipate kwa club lazima wajirushe, tupate kwa slums lazima tuwakilishe. Jipate kwa show lazima ujulishwe, ni hip hop ni hii song I distort hii single ni nini ni ligo ni lito ilivyo UK double o MAU double.
Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, ukituona ndani ya club samahani. Hawa magrupi ndani ya fane namna gani? Tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya sampro ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje. Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, wakituona ndani ya sam. Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, ukituona ndani ya club samahani. Hawa magrupi ndani ya fane namna gani? Tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya sampro ni aje, tukipatana ndani ya club ho ni aje. Uko flani ndani ya lab na mezani, wakituona ndani ya sam.
Kama umeshika kuna magava mitaani, soma dibaji ya wenyeji nasemaje. Kama umekutwa ukikunya hadharani, soma dibaji ya wenyeji nasemaje. Kama umekutwa ukilala darasani, soma dibaji ya wenyeji nasemaje. Soma gazeti za Dandora zinasemaje. Uko flani kibandani usijishashe, uko flani kibandani usijishashe.
Tunasikia ni upenda kuchocha, si ndio? Acha tuchoche basi. Big shout out to Vince on the beat by the kama una noti kuna demo menoki anakuliza kauko na moti chocha. Rent ujakanja landia shakupa notice lakini umegoma hautoki chocha. Forex unaosha bila kopi chocha. Ocha wanajua weni doki chocha. Bogi wanasema weni bosi chocha. IG hauwezi cheza loki chocha. Check it this omolo once again na ile injili wanapenda. Other than rap bado ni mwili na jenga. Doba napiga buda mitili ya benga. Popularity imefanya nibadili mamrenga. Bad man kisirisiri anatengwa. Anomolo fichen kafirifiri kwa dema. Check yule boy wa chilichili analengwa. Backup nyamarebo kame katilili wa menza. Kijibizana mtaita kudhuru, ukibishano na kutax ushuru. Mulibanja sana mtaki uhuru, saa imebamba sana wapi nduru. Yeah, hatuendi maandamano baba, into maintain kanyo kanyo. Mr. President ongeza miaka 5 na nyi wa Kenya lazima mkuwe na msimamo. Kama una noti kuna demo menoki anakuliza kauko na moti Georgia. Rent ujakanjalandia shakupa notice lakini umegoma hautoki Georgia. Forex unaosha bila kopi Georgia. Ocha wanajua weni doki Georgia. Bogi wanasema weni bosi Georgia. IG hauwezi cheza loki Georgia. Dopate views way back in day you may earn more. Agenge Grammy tungeletewa na cancel. Say Kenya nika kuna reggae ama danso. The conscious zako juu ya ngwete hapo Sanford. We ball on a budget strictly. Atupendangi bad and CC. Oyo leli fanya nijue kubag and fiti. Free parking the only reason iko Garden City. If they charge me na tell get me stop a tell. Vibes too, always itaka beef na cartel. I had to make a choice, said the streets are myself. Jumta squeezy, my boys wanna snitch na lapel. The new definition of kidungi. Umejipine, weni fundi. Weni gangster, uko na kikundi. Shut the fuck up, bro lundi. Una glorify chocha. Meribu mziki mefanya hii job ikai mboka. History kai proper. Boy child anakapitia kosetu juu kama teoria taitoka. Bloggers our verify story. To all the victims wako terrified, sorry. Chocha imedu igemi kai boring. Na nyi mpasho bitch, I hope you die slowly. Kama una noti kuna demo menoki anakuliza kauko na moti Georgia. Rent ujakanjalandia shakupa notice lakini umegoma hautoki Georgia. Forex unaosha bila kopi Georgia. Ocha wanajua weni doki Georgia. Bogi wanasema weni bosi Georgia. IG hauwezi cheza loki Georgia. Kuta kila kitu Georgia. Georgia, Georgia, kila kitu Georgia, Georgia, Georgia.
Chocha, new song by Calligraph Jones, playing right here exclusively on The Vault. I was thinking in my head about all the shows I'm on. I was like, Passage, no. The Breakfast Jam, no. The Vault.
The Vault's the place to be.
Yes. And that's where we drop the exclusives. And of course, bring you the news about what's going on in the world of hip hop and just world in general. Because hip hop, you cannot just define it to just the music. It's the policies, it's the things that affect it in one way or another. Hip hop is dynamic in all its forms, whether it's in R&B, it's in poetry, it's in music. We embody all of that. And now we are looking at how the rest of the world is just casting a shadow on Africa, a shadow that should never be there to begin with because of how much we contribute to it. We've just taken a look at Meek Mill. We took a look at Fabulous and the words that he used against the motherland, that we talk about the motherland we want to come back to. And then when they get here, they try to diss us, you know?
They don't know how to behave.
That's the word. They don't know how to behave. They have no home training, okay? So when you want to get the most out of Africa, you don't start by dissing it. You don't start by spreading untruths. You start by embracing. Like, one person I'll tell you who has done that and done that really well is Chris Brown. Chris Brown has taken and given back in equal measure. That is how it's supposed to be done. Okay?
It is.
It's not that he saying how many people are playing my music, because that's what Meek Mill was trying to do. He's trying to do a statistic to see whether it's popular in Africa or not. He tried to make itself relevant. You're trying to make yourself relevant, but it didn't work.
The honest truth is, Africa right now, 2023, 24, most of these guys who were relevant some years ago are irrelevant right now.
Right.
Because Africans are looking towards their own right now.
Yeah.
You know, even if there's a few tunes out there from guys who are out there, you know, it's like they're more relevant. People are more like what's going on at home.
Yeah.
And because of that, these artists from abroad are trying to creep into Africa right now. Like, how can we do a collaboration?
Right.
You know, that's what they're into.
Exactly.
Because they realize that, you know, there's a time they had big numbers in Africa, but then Africa's like, yeah, we're really loving what's going on in our culture. We hear the language.
Right.
You know, we know what they're talking about.
Right.
You know, even if it's a tribal language, you know, people respect that.
Right.
And they feel like they begin to laugh. They're like, hey, that story makes sense. You know, you begin to enjoy it. And so all these big artists that had huge records who were out there,
yeah,
they're no longer as relevant. Like even last year, this lady from South Africa, was it Tyler? This chick who did Water, you know, her song was like #1.
Right.
You know, that just shows you how Africa is rising up.
Exactly.
You know, like we're taking the #1 spot. So now, if you were #1 out there, and now you're seeing Africa is taking the #1, so guess what you want to do? You want to team up with artists that are in Africa.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. But I think they need to acknowledge and understand what these artists are about, what these communities are about, what these creatives are about,
right,
what these publishing companies are about. They need to understand it. So when you come, you know, you give the homage to them.
Right.
Don't just come and act like you're the star.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So speaking of becoming stars, there are, again, a lot who have emerged. If you watch the last Emmys, there were a lot of Africans and African Americans who stole the stage in terms of their work, giving homage to the talent that we have here. But now, after celebrating that with the Emmys, we get unfortunate news and find out that now the Oscars have completely snubbed Africa. All African films, all, not even one, made it. Now, according to the BBC, the Oscar nomination for 2024 are out, but once again, African films faced a snub. Only a few African films, including The Mother of All Lies from Morocco and Four Daughters from Tunisia, made the shortlist, but failed to secure a final nomination in the Best International Feature category, but scored a nomination in the Best Documentary category. On a positive note, Lo Capitano, an Italian film featuring Senegalese talent Seydou Sarr, received a nod in the International Feature Film category, but that's only starring an actor, not a film. Now, Africa, however, left its mark in a different category with Bobby Wine, the People's President, a documentary the Ugandan pop star turned politician, scoring a nomination in the Best Documentary category. Four Daughters, a co-production between France, Tunisia, Germany, and Saudi Arabia, also scored a nomination in the same category. Now, of course, this brings to the question, why are we being snubbed? And when you're snubbing a film, you're snubbing everything around it. You're snubbing the creatives, you're snubbing the actors, you're snubbing the crew, the set design, the locations, and the scoring, the music, which comes from Africa. It affects us in a big way. Don't think it's just not us getting films, but also the music also is categorized as a category in Oscars and is awarded. But if we cannot even have one category fulfilled within the Oscars, then how do we advance ourselves in our music and put ourselves on the map?
I think it's just another form of racism. You know, trying to put people down. You know, it's like saying you're not as equal as us.
Right.
You know, and the ridiculous thing is you can never hold people down.
Right.
That's just the fact about it. If they decide to come together and rise up, then people are gonna rise up. And Africa is already rising.
Already.
So it's gonna come to a point where it's like, you know, screw you, we don't need you. We don't need your Oscars.
Right.
That is not what defines us.
Right.
You know, and that's where things are going.
I'm telling you.
You know, where
it's about time.
we have our because even if you remember, like for example, the award shows for music, all of them used to happen in other countries abroad.
Yeah.
Then what happened? These guys came together, came up with Afrima. You know, that's
Right.
for Africa now.
Right.
You know, it's been going on a couple of years now.
Right.
And people like, you know, so it's like, it's gonna reach that point where it's like, you want to snub us, it's okay.
Yeah.
You do what you gotta do.
I mean, we have very rich Africans.
Yeah.
Very rich Africans. If we decide to, and we are rich as a continent, if we decided again to create our own stage, we might as well do it and say we are giving honor to our own creations and now invite the rest to come in.
And Africa has a lot of filmmakers, like a lot of filmmakers giving real rich stories, you know, and people like Netflix started seeing that slowly, but they started seeing it, and like, how can we incorporate this? Because now when you see an organization like them coming to you, it's like, yeah, we need you, we need what you're doing, we need your stories, you know. So it's like you'll find that people come up with like a version of Marvel for Africa. You know, the quality will be high, the production will be high, and they can't ignore it because it's good work.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of filmmakers, like even in Kenya itself, there are a lot of filmmakers who are every day putting in the time, putting in the work, and putting out products. On the other flip side, I feel that we as Africans, we need to come more on board about supporting the people that are in those sectors, because that's the only way we grow.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
If we don't do that, then what's gonna happen is, like, for example, when a movie comes out, we need to go to the cinemas. We need to support it. We need to check it out. We need to be there for it. We need to do our reviews about it, you know, and just give a shout out, you know. If we keep on rising like that, it will become a place where, you know, we're okay with our industry. There's some places in Africa that they don't really give a crap about Europe or America. One of them is Ethiopia. They just do their own things. They sell their own records. You never hear them like, and they do well.
They don't try to mix with the rest of the world. They're like, we're doing us.
Yeah.
And you've seen the rest of the world that's come to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for concerts, for everything.
You know, so you think about even Ethiopian business, they have this, and I was reading about it. They have this, it's claimed that they have the best coffee in the world. And so they have this thing where you can already leave with the processed bean, like the roasted bean, but you cannot leave, you cannot go with the bean that's put in the ground.
Right.
You can be arrested.
Right. And that's how you maintain.
Because they're protecting.
Good. I think that's we need to preserve ourselves, preserve our heritage, preserve our culture, but we are as a people embrace it. We don't always have to adopt. We know we're in a global village, but let's try and adopt as less as possible from the outside and try to be the influencer as opposed to being the influenced.
But what do you feel Kenya needs to improve on for us to move forward now as Kenya as the place?
We already have everything. All we need to do is unite. Stop hating on each other. Stop hating on our own.
I feel like, and I've said this several times on the shows already. I said that one of the things that I feel is that we've forgotten about our legends, just the way we forgot about the Mau Mau.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
You know, we forgot about our legends who actually set up these industries.
Right.
And a lot of people are able to do what they do right now because of them.
Right.
I was having a talk the other day with some people. I said, how many people remember, like, for the example, when I came up, there was only one guy who did sound, like the PA.
Yeah.
He was called DS Njoroge.
Yeah, DS.
And he had this, he's only on at 10,000 watts of sound.
And he's a president.
You had to go to DS,
Yeah.
and he would tell you only 10K.
Yeah.
Nalipa.
Yeah.
And people forget the sound change because it's one of the guys. Then there was live gigs. There was live sound. There's other Homeboys came later, you know. The other people that came up in music, there were guys like Hardstone. There was Poxy Pressure. You know, there were guys, there was One to Moja, you know, if we talk about urban music, there were guys, there was Unasi.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different people that have come up. Right now, if you say, hey, do you know Unasi? People are like, who? Who the heck are that? You mentioned, some guys you mentioned, some of the artists, like, even like guys like Mad Professor.
Yeah.
They'll be like, who the heck is that? As we just know him. In fact, the only people who know him are guys who watch Housewives of Kangwa. They saw Onyi.
Right.
But they don't know he was called the Mad Professor.
Right.
So,
you know,
so we're forgetting about our legends.
Exactly. But what I like about what's trending right now is TikTokers are taking now these songs and putting them into challenges. I saw the other day Kenzo's Mama was made into a challenge. And I think now us in the media now need to come up after those challenges and say, okay, this is what you know about the song. I mean, you guys like the song. This is what you need to know about the song, about the artist. Again, just to put that into our archives so that that legacy continues, so that the younger guys will be like, but that was Kenzo and he did this song, and pass it on to the younger guys behind them, you know.
They need to. And another thing is that artists right now, if I would give you one advice, I would say stop beefing. Stop beefing with each other and start collaborating. The person who's next to you is your brother and your sister. You don't need to take it like your opposition.
Right.
Now you can take them out. You know, this is not the mafia of music. This is us supporting each other.
Right.
And the thing about Kenya is that we need to come together and support each other. We can't do it alone.
Right.
You know, and how we become a force around the world. Just the way people say, oh, Kenyans are good in business, they're good in IT, because those people came together and they're like, let's work together to build a business sector. And yeah, we still have a long way to go, but nothing happens in a leap.
Right.
And I always say, an industry is not about a sprint.
Right.
It's about it being a marathon.
The journey. the journey you take to get there. Love that. Guys, we've come literally to the end of the show. It's 11:56 a.m. For once, we're on time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, we do have our call to action. If you do have that song that you cooked up in the studio and it's about preventing and speaking against femicide, send it to us on info@icoradio.co.ke, and I promise you we'll have it on rotation. We need your voice.
But at the same time, remember, when you're sending us something, follow the procedures of sending it.
Yes.
Also, let us know about your electronic press kit, who you are. Tell us a bit about you.
Yeah.
Don't just send us an MP3.
Right.
That is written Joroge.
I think we'll share it once again on our socials, how to put together a press kit. This is for all the artists. So we get to know who you are before you come in and ask Nicheze Doba yangu. First, tell us who you are. Okay, let us know who you are before we can now play your music, and then now proceed to send us your music. So again, info@iconradio.co.ke is where you need to hit us up. We've had a fantastic show. Thank you so much for those who have been able to tune in. You can find the rerun of this on YouTube, where we are streaming live. We'll catch you again next week. Play all Kenyan music that we've played here. Stream it on your Spotify's, on your boom plays. Let's take Kenyan music to #1 everywhere. Let the world know about Kenyan music. And of course, as we always say, hip hop ni culture love, sister. How?
Yes.
Yellow model cheat, yellow bottle sipping, yellow Lamborghini, yellow top missing. Yeah, yeah. Look like a toupee. I get what you get in 10 years, in 2 days. Ladies love me, I'm on my cool J. If you get what I get, what would you say? She wax it all off, Mr. Miyagi. And them suicide doors, Ari Kari. Look at me now, look at me now, oh. I'm getting paper, look at me now, oh. Look at me now, yeah. Fresh to the look at the gorilla cause I'm good, but I can try to be on. Better cuff your chick if you with it, I can get it and she accidentally slip and fall on. Oops, I said on. I ain't really mean to say on, but since we talking about all of you here to say hi to it, I'm done.
Hell, Breezy, let me show you how to keep the dice rolling when you're doing that thing over there, homie. Let's go! Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. Cause you know I gotta win every day. Go! See, they really wanna pop me. Go! Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come, I gotta set it, then I gotta go, and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow, and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing and thing that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna dead it. Then I'm gonna murder everything and anything about a boom, about a bing. I gotta do a lot of things to make it clearer to a couple that I always win, and then I gotta get it again and again and again. And I be doing it to death, and now I move a little foul. Better call a rap, and everybody know my style. And know that I'm the best when it come to doing this. And I be banging on my chest, and I bang in the east, and I banging in the west. And I kinda give you more, and I will never give you less. You will hear it in the street, or you can read it in the press. Do you really wanna know what's next? Let's go. See the way we on it, and we all up in the race. And you know we gotta go now, try to keep up with the pace. And we struggling and hustling to set it and to get it. And we always gotta do it, take it to another place. Gotta taste it, and I gotta grab it, and I gotta cut all through this traffic just to be at the top of the throne. But I know I gotta have it. Have it.
Look at me now. Look at me now. Oh. I'm getting paper. Look at me now. Oh. Look at me now. Yeah. Fresh to the man. How y'all doing? I'm Latunche. I'm a nuisance. I go stupid. I go dumb like the Three Stooges. I don't eat sushi. I'm pollution, no substitution. Got up that play in movies in my jacuzzi.
juicy. I left by the hater, got money on my radar. Dressed like a skater, got a big house, came with an elevator. Ain't eating, tell a waiter. All this and I say, okay, if you then I'm like, oh, late. I don't care what you say, so don't even speak. Your girlfriend a freak like Cirque du Soleil. That's word to my. And my I'm out of my mind. From the bottom I climb. You ain't hotter than mine. Nope, not on my time. And I'm not even trying. What's poppin', slime? Nothing 5. And if they trip on 5, I ain't got no time to shuck and jive. This sweet as pumpkin pie. So I can Sprite on a private flight. I've been tight since God in life. And my pocket's right. And my diamonds white. And my mama's nice. And my dad is dead. You cause I'm too wild. Been here for a while. I was trial. I puts it down. I'm so young money. If you got eyes, look at me now.
Look at me now. Look at me now. Oh. I'm getting paper. Look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Yeah. I'm fresher than okay. Okay. Is that right? I'm fresher than